Hello team, we're back again to make another repair. Actually, this is a re-repair troubleshooting of the third brake light on my 993. See the handlebar, so mine's a 95. It's got the handlebar brake light here. Only one side of it lights up, the left side, the right side stopped working. I replaced this with an LED from Bergvillfx. I'll show you the invoice here in a second. Back in 2019, it says it should have significantly extended life. I'm hoping there's just a wire that's come loose and we'll be able to fix it, but I'm gonna show you how I got in there before, took it apart, where you get the screws. There's an installation guide online, which is helpful and which is what I use, but a couple little tips and tricks that I learned along the way. Show you how to replace or troubleshoot this part of the car. So we'll get going. So the first thing that I learned, since you're going to be working with a couple small screws, is to put this, put a towel over your wing. Because I dropped a screw once, it just kind of slipped out of my hand and it would have disappeared into the abyss of the engine bay, and that's never good. So put this over the top. If anything, it rolls down the back and it will be fine. I'm going to show you the tool that I'll be using, because you need something like this. So it's just a small wrench. It's got a ratcheting feature, and it really just takes a little Phillips screwdriver on the end here, and there's a couple screws I'll show you underneath, but you need something that's low profile so that you can get under here and work on it. Otherwise, it's very, very difficult. Okay, so on the bar, about this far in, there's a screw, and there's one on the other side here. Two screws, so just get in here, drop this screw, drop the other screw, and then we're gonna back the light off, and that'll be the next step. All right, these are what the little screws look like when they come out. Remember, righty-tighty, lefty-loosey, so you're gonna go from right to left to extract it. They just kind of come out. I actually, at some point, had to remove the bit from the ratchet, and I just got it in there with my fingers and kind of backed it out. But here's the screws. And I think taking it out should be as simple as just pushing it on the end, and it falls back. All right, from here, I'll take a look. I'm gonna take a look at this a little bit closer, but this is what it looks like on the inside. There are some screws. I remember, so 2, 3, 4, 5 screws. I may have to pull those out and get inside. What's also interesting about this piece, the LED lights, you can kind of see it in here. Here's the tips. This is the back side, and the lights kind of stick through. Right in the middle, and I'm gonna take a look at it, open it up. Right in the middle there was 2 metal strands connecting the sides, and when they send it to you, it's folded in half at that point. It's kind of a weak point. Well, they tell you when you get it, to be really careful. I didn't have any issues. I didn't break it. It installed and it's been working fine, but I just noticed it yesterday that, again, one side's not working. So it makes me think that maybe something wrong with that piece of it, but I'm gonna get in there and take a look. I suppose the other issue could be perhaps where these wires come in, and on the left-hand side here, maybe connection. So I'm gonna open this up real quick. Again, I'm just gonna remove these screws on the top, get inside, and let's take a look, see if we can't troubleshoot it. The harness on the handlebar. So these are the connectors on the ends here. Everything looks good. Here's the pieces in between I was telling you about. They're just like really thin wires. Let me see if I can get a better shot here. See how they're just really thin and they kind of bend? I'm gonna look at those a little bit more closely. They appear to be connected and okay. So I was hoping that would be the issue. So I didn't do anything. I kind of just pulled it apart, plugged it back in. My wife is pressing the brake right now to kind of see what's going on. It was kind of flickering, like, oh, see there, it went off. See that? It's like flickering, so makes me think it's something to do with these connectors here in the middle, which is, so I'm gonna have to figure out, maybe I need to put some extra solder across there. Anyway, that's probably where I'll be headed, but I think we found that we can reuse the part. We just need to figure out how to fix it. All right, guys, so admittedly, I'm not an expert with the multimeter. I put it on there. I do get some readings when I connect it. You know, this left side here, I put one here, and then I test here and here and here. I'm getting readings, different readings between them. Also, admittedly, I don't know what they all mean. My plan now is to simply put some solder on each one of these contacts and just try to shore it up and see if I can't solve the problem that way. Ideally, I'd be able to isolate if it was the top or the bottom, but just gonna, again, do each one. I don't need it to bend to ship anymore, so I'm okay if I connect here. So that's what I'm gonna be doing. It's gonna be hard to solder. I've got my iron here, I've got my flux, and I've got my piece just very lightly clamped down. So anyway, that's where I'm headed. Not gonna be able to video it, but that'll be the repair. Next one we'll install and see if we can get a consistent light up on the brake. All right, I just put a little bit of solder on each of those 4 terminals, and I'm gonna plug it back in, wiggle it around, see if I'm successful. Called the friend who may come down and see if he can teach me how to use that multimeter and know what settings to put it on and test it to see if it's back in place. I'm actually getting ready to insert the screws back underneath. In the next shot, hopefully we'll fire it up and we'll see that we have consistent lighting across the bar. All right, so I put my 2 screws back in the top, and here is the reward. There we go. May have cost me a few $100 to get it fixed at Porsche or a dealership, but was able to solder those wires together. My light's back working, and I feel like I saved myself $65. Anyway, that's the project, guys. Thanks a lot for watching.